Hello, we are Phlock. I'm Jenna, I'm a designer.
I'm Caroline, I'm also a designer.
I'm Matt, I'm a developer.
I'm Cody, and I'm a developer.
I'm Brock, I'm a developer.
And I'm Jackson, I'm also a developer.
Okay, we are the second photo management app, for those of you that don't know, and we are going to jump straight into our video because it kind of does a good job of sort of explaining what the app does, but also giving you an idea and kind of getting you to ask questions that we will later answer. So here is our promo video.
Hi, so when we were coming up with what we wanted the app to do, one of our main goals that we found through our research was that journalists needed a clear and concise way to effectively organize their photos in one place that includes the caption and the other metadata that accompanies it, and they also needed a way to send those off effectively to their newsrooms, which was the goal of Phlock.
So now we'll go to our demo, which Brock and Jackson will present that.
Okay. So when you open up the app, you're greeted by all your flocks that you've already created, and at the then you can top of the screen you can add new flocks, and it'll pop up an alert and ask you to name your new flock. So you type in whatever name you want to call it, and you hit create, and it'll show up. And then when you click into the flock you just created, at the top you can hit the plus button, and it'll go up to your camera roll, and you can select photos from photos that you've taken on your phone. So go ahead and select.
I would just like to add that we do use the native Photos app like framework, and your flocks go hand in hand and your images go hand in hand with the Photos framework. And so then when you go to add a picture to your flock, you also add it to your album in the Photos framework. So if there's any feature that we don't have that the Photos framework does have, you can go back into your Photos framework and do something with that photo, and it comes into the app.
You're not maintaining the photos in the app, you're leaving them in the album?
Yes.
Okay.
So then you just select the photo.
Yeah, you can add multiple photos if you want. And then you can select one of the photos, and you can add keywords and captions to it. So, pretty waterfall. I was here.
And the caption.
And you can click save. So you can go back, and then you can search for photos that you've assigned captions and IDs to. So when you go through and search, and when you start, it'll start pulling up keywords, and you'll find the photo that you gave that caption to.
So then you can go back. You can also go into any of your albums, click on one, and delete any of the photos. And like I said, that also will delete it in your Photos framework. We also have a profile page. Pretty much you just type in anything. I already had a profile set up. You type in all of your username, location, newsroom, email, job, and you hit save, and it'll save it for you. Profile's been saved.
Then on our uploads tab, any photos that you've uploaded will appear here. So those aren't on your phone, those are on a server. Since this is on the app, we don't have any of those up right now.
Now, do we go to the PowerPoint?
And whenever we stored,
What's going on here? Just go ahead.
well, on the captions, whenever we stored them, we stored each individual caption and keyword within core data itself. But the photos themselves were not stored with it. We just took the ID from that photo and stored that into core data, which is why that search was kind of slow whenever they were loading it, because it searches through core data to find it, then takes out that name, and then goes into Photos framework, and then searches for that photo that's named that and displays it.
While you're there, what happens if since you're leaving them in the album, if I delete in the album and come back to your app and it's referencing an ID that's no longer there?
We have like an if statement set up to where if it's not there, it just doesn't display it in that search thing. So like it'll go through and like try to fetch it, and if it like doesn't fetch it, then it'll just not display it.
Search. Go back. Oh, you want to go back? Sorry.
Yeah. So basically with our search, he touched on it. Basically it goes through every single photo. So it was a little slow, but what it does is it goes through every single photo, and it just it searches dynamically. So each time as you type your letters in, it narrows the results. So then you can go to the next page. Next slide. So basically, how does my information get stored? You saw that profile page. We use core data. Really simple. We save each data as a string, save it in core data. Really simple.
So some of the problems we had, our biggest problem was our web server. We're using Azure and trying to connect through the app, and we came up with several issues that we ended up not being able to figure out. There's security problems with it. It didn't want to connect since it wasn't HTTPS. Trying to force that I couldn't figure it out. I was having trouble finding stuff on the internet about it. Some other problems we had were we wanted to create a segue from the search page to the view controller. So when you search for an app and you click on it, it would pull that photo up so you can see it full size. That's another problem we had. And our third problem was our search algorithm is really slow. And in the future, we'd want to make that a lot faster.
Update our search algorithm so it'd be quite a bit faster, but we just kind of got a simple one with the time constraints. So.
Did you actually name asset controller with lowercase a?
No, probably not. I don't believe it. I don't believe I did. No, I did not.
Otherwise, I'd have to slap you.
Yeah, I did not.
So some of the future stuff we want to work on, we want to switch web servers and find something that works a little bit better. Some of the stuff with our research, like SQLite servers and stuff like that, might be easier. We wanted to indicate the upload to display uploaded flocks that we've already uploaded. Which
We have it all set up. It's just because since our web server decided not to work with us, we can't pull them back down from there. So
yeah, another problem we had. And we want to create a new view to display photos from search results and remove sequential search, find another way to pull photos by file name.
So Phlock's target users, like they've talked about, are mostly journalists who are taking a lot of pictures on their phones. The idea is to allow them a place where they can store all of the information from their phone in order to tell the stories they need to tell in one place, and we're trying to create that for them. But we also don't want it to be a product that other people feel timid to use or shy to use, because anyone who could find use for Phlock is obviously more than welcome to utilize it. So we just didn't want it to seem like we just want journalists on it, because a lot of different types of professions, photo takers, travelers who take a lot of photos and want pictures from a particular place from different times of years saved in one place. anyone's open to hopefully find and utilize our app.
Target for our goal target users, what we wanted to do is target university students. Some of the research that we found was the most people who are working in the field as taking pictures on their phones are younger people. It tends to be people a little bit older who are in the newsrooms doing the editing and the production work. And so we happened to go to the University of Missouri. It was one of the things that inspired us with this app. We kind of realized that millennials in general, behavior-wise, are some of the key earliest adopters, and they're also more likely to use word of mouth and authenticity when they're spreading things. And so similarly to what other people have said, word of mouth is a great way to gather a campaign. And so if we start at journalism schools across the country with whether it's student newspapers or TV companies, networks, they're able to use the app, try it out, see how they like it, talk about it, and a lot of them end up working at local stations, and it spreads that way.
So the issue with the server actually turns out to be 2 lines that go in your plist file. You should have emailed me. It literally is just 2 lines in a plist that say enable this. Apple is, though, not made it easy because they don't really want you to use HTTP anymore. And I understand the problem is to use HTTPS, you may need a certificate, and you don't have a certificate for your account. This class isn't about web application development, so I'm cool with it, but just letting you know that you were an inch away.
One other thing, if I can interrupt you. So like that was like our main issue at first, but after that, like once we tried to get past that, the server just decided to not work at all. It refused to connect. Anytime we tried to log on to just the web page or anything, it just refused to connect.
And this is true from a browser as well?
Yeah. I just went straight to the browser, and one day like it went straight to the index.html, but I couldn't go to our uploads PHP file, so it was just being really weird.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we put a simple like HTML file up there to see if it'd work, and like it wouldn't connect half the time. And it was.
It's Microsoft.
I'm curious, because your team chose to keep the items in the album and then you allow metadata to reside there, which I think is fine. How you thought about speeding things up? Do you have an idea of how you would do that right now?
Are you talking about for the search algorithm?
Yeah.
I think there might be some way in Swift to pull a asset by its file name, but like from what I could tell, you can only like pull it if you already knew the file name, so you had to like compare it as you went through each one. So there might be some code in Swift that we just don't know about that like says like get this asset that has this name, or just create a better search algorithm besides just sequentially going through each like picture by its number that's named.
One of our biggest problems or issues that we had was like we were trying to work with the PH assets, which is like the photos framework, and core data at the same time, and they don't really like to work with each other and also display them at the same time, and it's a lot of stuff in like a lot of coding in that. So
Yeah.
Good. Can you open the simulator real quick?
maybe. Yep.
Navigate in one of those blocks and select a photo, please. So a design question, or more of a statement actually, having the trash can very close to that save button is a very dangerous thing to do. Because I would accidentally press buttons, and if I accidentally pressed it and lost a photo, like it would be devastating to me with all the information all there. A common Apple behavior is to click and edit, and then a trash can appears within that screen.
Okay. Yeah.
So if you guys ever take this further, just keep that in mind. And
Understandable.
developers, by the way, in the top left, that back button drives me insane.
I didn't even notice
Press
that.
the space. You can put there instead, so you didn't see anything. Just FYI.
And I noticed too, while you're on that, the creating of a new collection, new flock, was a plus on the left, then adding an item was a plus on the right.
You mean like here
Yeah, so
and from
moving
here?
You know, yeah.
You mean moving the plus button?
So, yeah, having a plus sometimes on the left, sometimes on the right, like, it's kind of a design thing here where I feel like I don't have the consistency
It's more intuitive if you keep simpler functions in similar spots.
Well, I think it's actually modeled after the photos on your phone app is actually exactly how that's done. They like
I
have
believe
the plus
so.
sign move, I'm pretty sure.
I hate it.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a good idea, that's just what they
You
had.
know that
Yeah.
this app idea arose because of not
My own
liking.
personal
Oh, that's
frustration.
true.
Whoops.
From a design perspective, first of all, as someone who accidentally deletes things a lot, there were several fail-safes throughout the application that prevent it. You have to actually agree that you're deleting it first, which for some people might be annoying, but for people like me who get confused, or not confused, just have fat thumbs, it came in handy. Also,
Can you show us that?
See,
Try to delete a picture. Let's see what happens.
I think that this one, it actually, yeah, it just deletes it.
yeah.
On this one, we had it in here though. This popped up, so we almost had it.
Just another line of guidance
Yeah.
here that says this will delete it from your camera roll as well. Like, just because you want to make sure that people know that, like, it is not going to be anywhere on your phone if you get that delete button. Okay.
I have a question. How do you get the images in the alert? Because we have a lot of sets of public hours and dealing with those is not.
The
Image in the alert when you prompted the user, like when you tried to delete that photo.
And it actually shows the image of the photo in the alert.
Well, Apple actually has like an example of
Yeah,
it
yeah.
on their website, so
yeah,
we
we
just basically
didn't.
followed that.
I don't even believe we actually got that. Yeah, we got that from Apple. So
So just two quick things that I wanted to throw out. So when you are doing a demo, you will look a lot more effective if you make your demo look as realistic as possible, like a real world scenario. So for example, for this demo, I would not call it new album. I would call it waterfall story or waterfall, because that's the use case that you're dealing with.
Okay.
Also, I would probably try to get some newsy looking pictures, and you're talking to a news audience. Like a journalist is not really going to take this picture probably on a second. And so it just gives you another layer of authenticity when you do your demo. That like we're showing you what it actually looks like with an actual person using it the way we envision.
okay.
Now, to make an excuse for them, they're using the simulator which came with an album of photos.
There we go.
And you don't have a camera built in, and there's no great way to get, so
Yeah.
they're using the Apple provided
Okay.
photo album.
Okay.
Just so you know.
Okay, fair enough. So, yeah, and this wasn't a ding against your presentation. You did a good job actually walking through all of the functions that you showed. But just if you move forward and you're going to do this, if it's possible to be more realistic in it, then that will help you. There's one other thing that we did not talk about with either of these apps, which is a marketing question and a product question. When you're building your product, you want to think about these marketing things because, for example, when it posts this photo to Facebook, would it be possible or desirable to have it say, organized with Phlock? So that every photo that gets posted out to social using this app is a vector for people to learn about your app. And then maybe you charge people to get rid of that, right? And say, okay, if you don't want it to say that it's your Phlock, you pay us and we'll take that off. So all that kind of thinking about product and money and et cetera, if you're doing that all along, then you are setting yourselves up for success. And granted, this is an entry-level class, the point was to design a product, but you want to get that kind of thinking in there too of like, can we be building a marketing and money potential while designing product?
I just want to make a quick comment that you said. The simulator now lets you save photos to the simulator. I don't know if you do that.
Yeah, no, I meant, but you don't have a way to like really pre-populate it in advance. Like if you reset your simulator, those are the photos that are there.
Just real quick.
So maybe I have a stupid question, but so if this is like my phone, why would I need a profile for my photos?
Oh, that's for the uploads page. Basic.
I'm saying like, would I ever need for like when I upload it, another person who gets on my thing, would they have access to those?
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. But the idea is to be able to connect to your newsroom. So if you don't have a profile with your personal reporter information and you upload a set of pictures to your newsroom, other reporters and your colleagues wouldn't be able to say, oh, I'm taking this picture to use for my story now and I got it from this reporter. You know, and they would need that information. It's not necessarily personal that you need it, it's for when you send it that it's needed.
It also is optional. We purposely program the app so that you don't have to sign up right away. It's an optional feature so that if you're a person who's just using this for the management rather than the sending off aspects, you can still use the app without having to make a profile and have that hinder your usage at all.
And is there something in there that tells people that they should probably create a profile when they go to upload pictures?
There's a prompt you're not allowed to upload first.
Yeah, you can't access a server without creating a profile so that the server will have that information. You can't just upload pictures without information.
And is the profile part actually coded? Because we did see that in the demo.
Yeah, it saves the data.
Save
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, it's-
The one thing in future apps that we were still working on was the password security, sorry.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. We just have some